It's been barely 7 months since the death of Tamil Nadu's most famous Chief Minister, Jayalalitha, and her family, well, quote-unquote family, is already shamelessly doing everything possible to win the war for her multi-crore assets. After Jaya's niece Deepa was kicked out of her Boyce Garden residence yesterday, the war for Amma's properties has now reached the Prime Minister's door. Jaya's niece Deepa has sought the Prime Minister's intervention in this entire ugly feud over Amma's properties. Who will win this battle? Who will inherit Jaya's sprawling mansions? As Chennai witnesses one of the biggest inheritance wars in history, we have a full discussion where we're asking the question, who is going to inherit Jayalalitha's many properties, the worth of which runs into many hundreds of crores. I'm Shiv Arur. This is To The Point. Thanks so much for tuning in. That is our top focus. Watch this report on all the claimants for what was once Jaya's. And since that iconic Chief Minister's death, things have gotten very ugly down in Chennai. Take a look.
The former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu left behind an estate fit for a queen. A stake in the sprawling Kodinad estate considered her secondary secretariat. Commercial properties worth almost 15 crore scattered across Chennai. And the crown jewel, a sprawling post-garden residence valued at almost 50 crore rupees. The apparent lack of a will by Jayalalitha before her demise has sparked a free-for-all. That's why initially Shashikala emerged as the heir. But her incarceration has weakened her standing.
They pushed me out.
Now Jayalalitha's nephew and niece, her closest blood relatives, are involved in a tug-of-war.
Private legal dispute seems to have become a public law and order situation today. We do not think that the way to appropriate Jayalalitha's legacy or the ADMK legacy is by going and finding her house and taking it over. That is not the kind of politics that the people of the state elected ADMK for.
But it's not just those close to the former Chief Minister who have staked claim. The ex-owner of the Kodinad estate, in which Jaya had a major stake, has levelled some serious allegations.
Constant, persistent pressure from members of Jayalalitha's inner circle, Shashikala, other ministers, other members of the party. They pretty much worked on us for about 2 years, 2.5 years.
The fight is apparently much more than a property dispute. It's a tussle to appropriate Jayalalitha's legacy itself. With Pramod Madhav and Priyamvada in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, that's the state of play as it stands. It's gotten very ugly. It has the usual ingredients of political drama and emotions running high. We're joined now by India Today's consulting editor in the South, T.S. Sudhir, who joins us live. We also have Manu Sundaram of the DMK, who you just saw in that report saying that the people of Tamil Nadu had not voted a party into power to see these kinds of scenes of people trying to barge into Veda Nilayam, claiming to be the real inheritors and successors of Jayalalitha. Sudhir, if I could come to you first, Deepa, Jayakumar, the others, Deepak, etc. These are all, fairly unfamiliar, obscure entrants into the field of play as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, compared to some of the other, big politicians. We know that there's already a huge legacy war going on within the AIA-DMK as far as Amma's name is concerned. Here we're talking about cold, hard, cash properties, the assets that Jayalalitha owned, and it has come down to a level nearly a farce where you see people barging into Veda Nilayam. This is pretty expected at one level, Sudhir.
Well, of course, it's expected. In fact, I'm surprised that it has taken this long for the brother-sister duo to actually stake their claim to Jayalalitha's properties. Now, there are two things here, Shiv. One, while Jayalalitha was alive, these two people, especially Deepa Jayakumar, was a persona non grata in the Jayalalitha household. Of course, she blames PK Shashikala for the fact that she was kept away, but Deepak Jayakumar was some kind of a favorite, at least with Shashikala, which is where the politics plays out. And that's where I come to point number 2, that Deepa Jayakumar, it would feel suspicious that Deepak Jayakumar is almost being used as some kind of a front by Shashikala to hold on to all the properties, not just in Chennai, but also in Kodinad, but also in Hyderabad, to somehow hold on to these properties till Shashikala comes out in 2021. So he's being played as some kind of a proxy on the Tamil Nadu chessboard as far as the properties of Jayalalitha are concerned.
Yes.
And Deepa Jayakumar is really not being left with anything. But the flip side is, why isn't she going to court? She could easily go to court, and being the natural heir of Jayalalitha, the daughter of Jayalalitha's brother, she would definitely be a legal claimant to the properties of Jayalalitha, given the fact that she has not left behind any will.
Yes.
So this leaves a room for a lot of suspicion as to what's really happening behind the scenes, whether any kind of bargaining, any kind of deal making is actually taking place behind the scenes.
Absolutely. You know, Manu Sundaram, that takes off on a point that you made in our report, which is, you know, there is already so much deal making going on within the political landscape of Tamil Nadu at present, where you're talking about the legacy of Amma, you're talking about the two symbol, you know, the emblem of the AIA-DMK, you're talking about who should lead the AIA-DMK, who should be the chief minister. And here you've got the fight over these cold properties, which is, you know, like Sudhir said, he's surprised that it took so long for this brother and sister duo to actually come out and make this claim. What is the message being sent out, Manu?
You know, I would first start by refuting Mr. T.S. Sudhir very strongly. Going to court to fight for a property is for people like you and me, sir. These people are so high and mighty that they have not even considered the option of going to court and getting a very small order in the case of who's the legal heir. Instead,
and this
what
comes from a lawyer
has decided to do yesterday is to barge into a property, or who's ever... See, she may well be the legal heir and there may not be a will, and if that's the case, then she is entitled to have a right over the property. There's no disputing that. That's the basic rule of law. But it's so bizarre that she had to barge in and create such a big scene. Although, you know, look at what is going on, and I agree totally with Mr. T.S. Sudhir's analysis about Deepak and Deepa being pawns in the hands of other people. You have a government which is being run by a man called Palaniswamy, who swore to rule in the name of Shashikala. The day he took oath on 18th of February, he said, I will run this government to forward the legacy of Amma and Chinnamma. Now today, the same man says, I will not do I will have no business with Shashikala or Dinakaran or her family. Now, if that is the case, and clearly someone like Deepak is being a pawn in the hand of Shashikala, and Mr. Palaniswamy has been repeatedly asked by the courts, because Poise Garden, let's not forget, is subject matter of the disproportionate assets case. The first thing the Tamil Nadu government should have done is take into its own control Poise Garden, because Poise Garden is clearly in the name, or was in the name, of Miss Jayalalitha. Now, after Miss Jayalalitha's death, I don't understand who has taken possession of the property. Because
so Sudhir, you want to try and answer that? Why is this not a more clear-cut issue? Even in the absence of a will, you know, we remember when we were reporting from Chennai a few months ago, when Paneerselvam had come out to say that it should be a, you know, a tribute site or a museum for the AIA-DMK or a memorial for Jayalalitha. Why is it not more clear-cut? If these people were persona non grata so far, why is it becoming so difficult?
Well, in fact, Poise Garden, the Vedan Nilayam property, is one of the few properties which is solely in the name of Jayalalitha. In fact, the other properties, including the one in Sikandrabad, which is actually very close to where I stay, is actually in the name of Shashikala now. Similarly, the Kodinad estate is in the joint name of Ilavarasi, Shashikala and Jayalalitha. So in that sense, Shashikala also has a stake. So Deepa and Deepak Jayakumar will really not be able to stake claim to all the other properties on their own. But Vedan Nilayam remains at least one of those properties where Jayalalitha was the sole owner, which is perhaps they want to to stake claim. But yes, Manu Sundaram has a point where he says that this was one of the listed properties in the disproportionate assets case. The Bengaluru Special Court in its judgment had listed it out in its detailed 1100-page order that this was one of the properties. So the Tamil Nadu government perhaps needs to move in as well. But yes, remember, even Paneerselvam had mooted that this should be converted into some kind of a Jayalalitha memorial.
Yes.
But what you saw playing out yesterday on Sunday morning was essentially a Sunday morning show, a theatre of the absurd where the brother and sister were coming out with their very different kind of versions. But as far as Deepa Jayakumar is concerned, Shiv, the important point is that at least she is known to have some kind of political ambitions.
Yes,
and what would really help her in those political ambitions is to have Poise Guard and Ved and Nilayam with her. It will almost be some kind of an Aadhaar address to political mileage.
You know, but Sudhir, before I take that question to Manu, you know, what is the perception of Deepa right now, you know, that she's probably going for? You know, trying to get Veda Nilayam absolutely as a power move. You know, nothing is more symbolic as that residence that Jayalalitha, you know, operated from. But what is the message going out? I mean, is there any sympathy or understanding of a woman who, you know, Jayalalitha had nothing to do with, barging in this manner and trying to claim the house as hers?
Well, it would seem to the people of Tamil Nadu that this is just an episode of a Tamil soap opera which is playing out, which is all the kind of masala that Tamil soap operas are known for. But politically, I think this is also some kind of a move being played out, the strings being operated by the invisible puppeteer behind the scenes. Because remember, TTV Dinakaran, ever since he has come back, he has now the support of 31 MLAs. That is very significant. Despite the Damocles sword of IT raids, enforcement directorate cases, even then 31 MLAs have actually come out and supported Dinakaran after he came out on bail from Tihar jail in the bribery case. Now, he actually holds the key to the longevity of the Edappadi Palaniswamy government. So whether this move is to kind of rattle the Shashikala camp, because she was essentially attacking Shashikala in a fit of rage, even going to the extent of saying that Deepak Jayakumar and Shashikala conspired to kill Jayalalitha. So the target yesterday morning was clearly Shashikala and by extension Deepak Jayakumar. So which makes one think whether there is more than what meets the eye, whether this is some kind of a political fallout of the kind of support that Dinakaran has managed to gain in the last 1 week ever since he came back.
Absolutely. Political pawns meant to rattle the Sasikala camp or otherwise appear to be a possibility at this time. You know, Manu, you know, you said going to courts and, you know, trying to indulge in due process and due procedure is only for people like us, not for the politicians who want to make a song and dance, like Sudhir correctly put it, a Tamil soap opera really. If this issue were to go to court, Manu, if this were to come before a court, you know, and not that I'm asking you to second guess what a justice would decide, but what kind of legal scrutiny would this particular case actually be able to stand in court? The claims made by Deepa and the others.
No, they're very straightforward claims. I mean, the legal heirs, meaning Deepa and Deepak, and there's no dispute about the fact that they are the only blood relatives or next of kin.
Yes.
They are entitled to their shares, their respective equal shares in the property, in the case that Jayalalitha has not left a will. So if they go to the court, then the onus is on whoever has possession of the property, assuming it is Shashikala and her relatives or her people. They have to come to court and show that there is a will which gives them the right to be in the property. If they are not able to show a will, then it is pretty clear-cut case for Deepa and Deepak. But I think the greater tragedy in all this, if I might say so, is the fact that, you know, Jayalalitha's death, which was, you know, even though we are on the other side of the political fence, which it did causes some sort of sadness to lose a leader of her stature.
Yes.
But I see that her death and the mystery surrounding it being used from time and again by people. You know, 2 months after O. Paneerselvam was sworn in as Chief Minister, and 2 days after he was asked to resign, suddenly he says there's a mystery in Jayalalitha's death.
Right.
Deepa is not allowed into the Poise Garden house. Now she says there is a conspiracy and people have decided. Now, why does Jayalalitha's death have to come up only when people feel that they are not given something?
Yeah.
This is why I suspect that there is a lot of backroom deal making, and which really makes a fool of people like us, you know, Tamil Nadu and people. Look, we are in the opposition. We are happy to wait out another 4 years and we will face the next election. But the people are looking forward to some schemes. And if I can just say one other thing, you know, you say this is a legacy war. Now, I really contest that, because a legacy of the ADMK leadership should be what new schemes can you bring in for the people, and not which property can you go and sit in, right?
Okay. Absolutely. Now, whether or not this goes to court is anybody's guess at this point of time. And like we said, it appears that political drama is preferable at this time because a message is sought to be sent out by the people at play. There are political backroom dealings that we can be pretty sure are actually going on. But if this comes to court, then what happens? Who's going to gain? Who's going to lose? We've got Sanjay K. Chadha, very well-known Supreme Court lawyer, joining us live from Mumbai this evening. Sanjay, thanks for being with us this evening. What are you making of this case, Sanjay? There's a lot of sound, very little substance, very few things really known. There is no will to speak of. Some of these properties are in Jayalalitha's name, some of them are not. The inheritors, the claimants, refuse to go to court. They want to indulge in drama. They want to barge into Vedanilayam. They want to, face the cameras. They want to shout out and make accusations. As a lawyer, what's going on here? Why do you think they're so scared to go to court?
Well, the most important aspect, what I feel is that if, as one of the legal heirs is alleging that he has a will, and then if anybody is having a will, he has to go and get it mutated by the court, and by virtue of that only he will be having the clear title over the property. So that is the most important aspect. Now, the other most important aspect is if there is a will and that person goes and files a case, then only that mutation will be done firstly, and secondly, when the other parties can challenge it, whether this will is authentic or whether this will is valid will or the last surviving will of Jayalalitha or not. Because the law of will is a person can make as many as wills.
But it needs to be the last one.
Today I want to make a will, and tomorrow I want to change it and give my properties or my belongings to somebody else. So I can make another will. So only the last surviving will is which carries the title and which is which has the recognition of law. And there is one more important aspect. As per the section 17(2) of Indian Registration Act, there is no will is not a mandatorily registerable document. That means even if the will is not registered, even though it has a legal sanctity of law,
it still stands.
If it is proved in the court of law, it is there. Now, the very important question which you have raised, that why anybody is apprehensive of going to the court.
Yes.
That clearly shows that because they don't have a valid will, they do not have. And in cases of will, you will be surprised to note that the maximum property disputes are pertaining to wills in this country. One. Second, because it is very easy, because it is not a mandatorily registerable document.
Right.
So it is very easy to fabricate a will. It's not at all difficult.
Yeah, so it's not very difficult to actually, see these scenarios right now. We've got C. Rajshekaran, lawyer and a supporter of the AIADMK also with us. Mr. Rajshekaran, you earlier had said that, if these people want things to move forward, all they need to go to is to court. All they need to do is follow due process and they will get what they want. Those properties will probably, be transferred to their name. Why, in your opinion, Mr. Rajshekaran, are Deepa, Deepak and these others not willing to go to court?
See, I really feel that Deepa and Deepak don't have any proof to substantiate that they are going to inherit the properties. I suspect that the late Jayalalitha would have definitely written some record or some proof would be available with Shashikala and Vivek Jayaraman and others, because they were living together as per the honorable order of the Supreme Court. Shashikala, Nilavarasi and Sudhakaran were convicted by the Honorable Supreme Court because they lived with Jayalalitha in Vedanilayam.
Right.
So that itself is sufficient, because they were living with her for 33 years, and the court had asked the question, how can the people living under one roof say that she is not connected with them? That is why Jayalalitha was also convicted by the Honorable Supreme Court. So all this would hold good for others.
It's a very peculiar situation as we speak. The question we're going to ask after we come back from this very short break with our guests is this the kind of situation that Jayalalitha would have wanted as she passed away? She was in very poor health towards the end. She may or may not have known that the end was coming. But is this the situation, this air of uncertainty, this air of mystery, and making this entire situation vulnerable to the unending politics, as Manu Sundaram just pointed out? Is this something that Jayalalitha foresaw? Is this something she actually desired? We're going to come. Most visible, most prominent and at the forefront in this war for Jayalalitha's multi-crore assets is her niece, a person who was totally obscure and definitely a persona non grata until only a few months ago when her aunt passed away. Deepa Jaykumar is now the most visible face. She spoke to India today about this ugly war that she's fighting.
Were you hit?
They pushed me out. They are trying to hit him. Protect பண்ணுங்க.
அவங்க போயிட்டாருமா. நீங்க வாங்க. அவர் சேஃப்டி
Raja was in his house. பின்ன he only called. That's why I want to show my phone. எல்லாமே ரெக்கார்ட் ஆயிருக்குல. நீங்க இப்ப வாங்க. இங்க floral tributes பண்ணனும். நான் கேட்டேன் யாரெல்லாம் வரணும்? நீங்க ராஜாவை மட்டும் வாங்க. வேற யாரும் வர வேணாம். நீங்க ரெண்டு பேர் மட்டும் வாங்க. நான் floral tributes பண்ணனும். பூஜை பண்ணவா அப்படினா இல்லடா எனக்கு டயர்டா இருக்கு நான் தூங்கிட்டு இருக்கேன் நான் இப்போ ஈவினிங் வரேன் இல்ல இப்பவே வா ப்ளீஸ் லிசன் இன் இப்பவே வான்னு 5:30 க்கு எனக்கு ஃபோன் பண்ணிருக்காங்க 5 am க்கு மாதவன் இஸ் நாட் ஸ்டேயிங் வித் மீ நவ so I couldn't call him right away சரிங்களா உங்களுக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் தெரியும்ல ஐபிஎஸ் தானே சரி ரேங்கிங்ல வந்து இங்கிலீஷ் புரியல உங்களுக்கு உங்களுக்கு ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணோம் நாம அடுத்து என்ன நினைச்சனா அதோட it was 7:30 க்கு I was going on calling Raja didn't seem to answer the calls he was not picking up திருப்பி ராஜாவையும் கூப்பிட்டுருக்கான் இல்லடா நீ இப்பயே வா நாம வந்து இப்ப கார்டன் போணும் அக்காவை கூட்டு வா உடனே இப்ப உங்களை பிக்கப் பண்ணிட்டு நீ வா இமிடியேட்டா அப்படினா சரி என்ன விஷயம்னு நான் கேட்டாங்க நான் கால்ட் ஹிம் அப்படி பண்ணனும் இப்படி பண்ணனும் பூஜை பண்ணனும் உள்ள வந்து போட்டோ இருக்கு அதுக்கு பூ போடணும் இப்படிலாம் சொல்லிட்டு நாங்க உள்ள வந்த உடனே அங்க நிக்க வச்சாங்க தனியா என்னையும் ராஜாவையும் மட்டும் இருங்க மத்தவங்க வெளியே போங்க எங்க இருக்காங்க நீ ஃபோன் பண்ணி தானே நான் வந்தேன் ஏய் சொல்லடா நீ தானடா வர சொன்ன எங்களை ராஜா வர சொன்னது யாரு பதில் சொல்லு நீ போய் ராஜா உனக்கு தெரியாத போய் சொல்ல தீபக் போய் சொல்லாத நீ தானடா அவனுக்கு ஃபோன் பண்ண ராஜாவை கூட்டு வா நீ சொல்லலையா ஏன்டா இப்படி அநியாயமா பேசுற நீ தானடா அவனை வர சொன்ன நீ வர சொன்னியா இல்லையா அதை மட்டும் சொல்லு எங்க ரெண்டு பேரையுமே இப்ப வர சொன்னது நீ அதெல்லாம் ஒன்ட்லாம் நான் பேச முடியாது உன்னை எங்க பாத்துக்கமா பாத்துக்கிறேன் கடமணி
T.S. Sudhir is still with us. Sudhir, I know this is a difficult question, but, was this all, part of a planned sort of situation as far as Jayalalitha is concerned? Did she want this confusion and this, a situation ripe for politics of this kind? How would she have reacted, Sudhir, if she'd seen what was happening right now?
Well, I wasn't in journalism at that time when MGR was there, but people tell me that he did not really want a second-run leadership after he was gone. So it was like after me, the deluge kind of a thing. We do not know whether Jayalalitha was also thinking on similar lines. But remember, all through November of 2016, we were given to understand by doctors at the Apollo hospitals that she was doing well, that she would recover. In fact, Dr. Pratap Reddy had said that she could decide when she wants to go back home to Vedandilem in Poise Garden.
Yes.
So in that sense, it's an indication that she was looking to kind of come back to home, come back to work perhaps after a few months, that she really wasn't looking at the kind of end that she met with on the night of the 5th of December. So it looks quite unlikely that she may have written a will in those kind of circumstances, that she was actually on the road to recovery. But having said that, as our lawyer friend from Bombay was pointing out, it's quite likely, it's quite easy to fabricate wills. And given the fact that there has been a theft at the Kodna Tea Estate recently, we really do not know what could come up. My guess is that probably sooner than later, we could see some kind of a will being also furnished in the public domain by somebody saying that this is something which has been written by Jayalalitha. So all kinds of things can happen. Nothing really can be ruled out in this politically very, very theatrical world of Tamil Nadu politics.
It's theatrical to the extreme, and one wonders, apart from the issue that Manu pointed out, which is that governance is suffering, and that's something that we've been highlighting here on India Today as well, is there going to be some substance and some order to what is happening? Because these are not, at the end of the day, there's a lot of tamasha going on, but these are deadly serious issues we're talking about. It's about property, it's about a lot of money, it's about companies that are still running, that employ a certain number of people. Manu, at which point do you think that higher powers might have to step in? The farce that is this story has meant that Deepa Jayakumar wants Prime Minister Modi to step in and, sort of intervene in this entire issue. There is a possibility of a public interest litigation should someone choose to file it, and higher courts might also jump in. Are all of these possibilities, Manu?
They're all very real possibilities now, I feel, and I'm just shocked that someone like Deepa would say that she would involve the Prime Minister of the country to settle a property dispute when there are literally 100 other issues, including one of the largest and worst agrarian crises this country has ever seen. But let us go back to what Mr. T.S. Sudhir said, and let us trace our steps back. Jayalalitha never once spoke about a legal heir or a political heir. Today you have people like Deepak who are nowhere on the scene for the last 10-15 years claiming to be the legal heir. You have today E. Palanisamy and TTV Dinakaran who are again persona non grata, or rather not really propelled up by Jayalalitha in the last 5-10 years to be claimants of the political heirship. But today, before going to Prime Minister Modi or the Supreme Court, I think the matter rests squarely with the Tamil Nadu government. There are two things that the Chief Minister Palanisamy can do immediately. One is he can take possession or evict people from the Poets Garden because it is very doubtful under whose authority they continue to enjoy possession. And secondly, he could launch a probe into actually the circumstances around Jayalalitha's death. This is not the first time, and this is not the DMK or some...
We're going to have to see if either of those things actually happen. I want to give the last word. Only 20 seconds left. Sanjay, 20 seconds left. Last word to you.
Well, what I feel is we all are talking about will. There are cases when a person dies intestate without writing any will. Then what happens? So why not all these parties? Why not go to the court directly without the will?
No, that's the question we'd like to end with, because at the end of the day, the drama is being allowed to explode and intensify, but why isn't order being imposed? There are so many things that can happen. There can be intervention, there can be public interest litigations, the parties can come together. That question, the jury is still out, but we will continue to ask those questions and continue to cover the story. That's it and to the point. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. The news comes up on the other side of this very short break.